soul going crazy.
The DLoading podcast today, my first in-person podcast with Ethan today. Ethan, how you doing?
I'm doing good, my man. I'm doing great.
It's great to have you on here. What a kickoff is right upon us, a couple hours before the first game. I want to get into that. The big news today is, last couple days, is Travis Kelce's probably not playing. How do you see the season starting tonight with the Lions and Chiefs?
I'm gonna go and shoot the red steaming gun. I think it's gonna be the Lions winning it, taking it away tonight, easily with maybe 1-2 possessions.
Really?
Yeah. I think that Detroit crowd is riled up for Jared Goff and that crew.
You think they're going in the Arrowhead and winning?
Hey, man, it's a possibility. I know Arrowhead is one of the tougher stadiums. I know it's one of the tougher stadiums, but this is the first rematch since the 2018 crazy game between Patrick Mahomes and Jared Goff on the Rams. The 54-52 win. Mm-hmm. So I think it'll be a one for the watch list. Like, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely one for the ages.
I mean, my thing is just Kelce. Like, he just takes up so much. Like, they lost Juju, and now they don't have Kelce out there. It's like, for the Chiefs. I mean, they still got Pacheco, who's really solid, but I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, and they don't have Chris Jones tonight. He's sitting out.
He is sitting out.
But
he should come to the Jags. But that's besides the point. What I will have to say about that is definitely we've seen over the past few years that Andy Reid and company are capable of bringing in 9 to 10 to 11 receivers within a game.
Right.
So, with that being said, I mean, even with Kelce missing, even with the loss of Juju Smith-Schuster and all of that going around, they got Pacheco. Kadarius Toney came over from New York last year. There's lots of possibilities, and they got a lot of good weapons in that wide receiver room.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to take the Chiefs just because it's at home, like, in Arrowhead. Like,
okay.
I can see the line has moved down, like, since the reporting. It was at, like, 6. Now it's at, what is it? It's at 4.5 now.
4.5.
So it's gone down 1.5 since the Kelce news. So that's going to be super interesting to see. And
we'll see.
My man Ethan's got all the Jag stuff on. We got to talk Jaguar football club, of course. Week 1, they're going to go to Indy this week and take on the Colts and Anthony Richardson. Without Jonathan Taylor is the big news. So let's just break down Game 1. What do you think we're going to see? What do you think the Jaguars need to do to win? And what's going to be difficult for them in Week 1?
Okay. 3 questions in one. I like it. To answer the first, what are we going to see? I think the most important thing that we're going to see is, what does Anthony Richardson do? What are we going to expect out of Anthony Richardson? Because what I can say is, in our last 10 visits to Indianapolis, we've lost 8 of the 10. So we're 2-8 in Indianapolis, with one of those wins being 2017. So
that was a good
AFC
championship.
Very good team. But with that being said, what does AR do? Because granted, I do think that we will see 5, 6, 7 big plays out of him at some point.
Well, my thing to add to that real quick is, I mean, the tough thing Week 1 with these rookie quarterbacks, too, and a guy like Anthony Richardson that we've seen been able to run in, just super athletic, just a freak athlete. I mean, it's going to be tough for the Jaguars. They have no film. They have no. Yeah. That's the one thing. I mean, I see people nationally, they're taking the Jaguars. I think the Jaguars are going to win. I just think it's going to be a tough matchup for the defense. Just the fact that they don't have any film at all.
There's nothing to prepare them. Like a lot of defensive coordinators have said, when you're going up against these running quarterbacks, it's tough because you're having to put a running back or a wide receiver at the QB position at practice. It's rough. It's hard. because you just got to prepare for that ability that they're going to take off at any minute.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking towards a lot of Devin Lloyd, a lot of Foye Oluokun. We'll see if Trey Herndon can hold his own.
Yeah, let's see.
We'll see. And then your second question, what was it?
It was, what do the Jaguars need to do
to win
the game?
So, I think the biggest wild card for us right now is that our trenches, both offensive line and defensive line. I think that definitely the offensive line is going to be healthy all the way. We're going to have starters all the way along the line. But defensive line, a lot of questions. There's Clavon Chase on there now, Yasir Abdullah. Devon Smoot's not going to be here till Buffalo. So,
yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to that D-line. That's what everyone's been talking about in training camp, like you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing in the AFC is you got to be able to get after the quarterbacks, Mahomes, Allen, Burrow, those guys. I mean, you got to be able to get the quarterback. So that's the biggest thing. I mean, Josh Allen and I think Trayvon Walker are going to be the two biggest names I see. I think they're kind of going to define the season on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah. But what we need to do to win, successfully stop the run. I mean, we've been doing that week in, week out for the past season, and we did it in training camp at a high success rate. So I think we can carry that into week one, stop the run, because even behind JT, they've got talent. They've got Zach Moss. They've got Deion Jackson. Deion Jackson was putting up points in fantasy last year. It's hard to admit, but he was. So that run game is going to be lethal. We need to stop it because I don't think that wide receiver game is going to be too high up there.
Yeah. No, I mean, my thing with this Jaguars team is it's just going to be so much on the defensive side of the ball. I mean, we're going to – this is going to be a top 5 offense. I've said it on here before.
Oh, yeah.
Easily
top 5.
My thing is, can number 1 Trayvon Walker show up? We've seen glimpses of the other guys in that draft. Sauce Gardner, Aiden Hudson. Can Walker show up? I would like to see him more on the D-line this year. If you kind of want to go into the defense a little more, if you want to break that down.
Break that down. Okay.
Just what you want to see, like who you think needs to step up. Just what do you need to see from that
I'm going to
side of the
start with my 3 sticklers. I call them my 3 sticklers, like the 3 stooges. And it's in the 3 depths of the defense. Number 1 being Clavon Chase. We haven't seen much out of that kid. He was great at LSU. He came in being drafted a first overall pick. We had high expectations, and 3 years from now, we haven't seen much from him.
Right.
So is he going to step up? We know the coaching staff likes him. So is he going to step up in that big role and become our third defensive outside linebacker?
Right.
The second stickler is Trey Herndon. Man is great in the run. He's great when it comes to playing in zone. He holds his own, but when it comes to man, he gets beat every time.
By anyone elite, too, I'm going to
By anyone. We even saw it in the first touchdown against the Giants. Darius Slayton came on just in a go route and just dusted him down the field. Oh, bad memories. And then my third stickler is Rayshawn Jenkins going to be able to produce the Dallas Cowboys game, 18 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 1 PBU, and then 1 interception, which was a pick 6. Can he make that a constant?
That's a lot to ask for him.
Because I love his game. He's a great, great safety. But can he keep that constant? Because we saw games from him where he put up those stat lines, but then there was other games where he was just getting roasted.
Yeah.
Those are my 3 sticklers. I think we're very strong at linebacker. I think Devin Lloyd will show up how he did in Utah. I think Foye is a lock. You can't doubt him. He led the league in solo tackles last year.
Hasn't he done that the last couple of years?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think this guy might be the most underrated linebacker in the NFL. Like seriously.
And then to add on top of that, PFF has a stat called the 20-yard push stat, which means which defensive players had to run 20-plus yards to make a play, and they made the play on their own. Foye Lucan led that with 25.
Yeah, for how big
For
big those
how-
linebackers are, it's just insane. No, I think you bring up some great points. I mean, I think Devin Lloyd's gonna be a lot better this year. I mean,
I'm hoping.
he really struggled last year, but it seemed like the lights were turned on maybe toward the end of the year. He played okay in that playoff game. So.
He did.
But I also want to I want to talk Calvin Ridley. I mean, what are you seeing? What do you think? I mean, I think this is really Trevor Lawrence's first number one he's going to have in his career. I think Calvin Ridley's got a chance to be a top 5 fantasy receiver. If you want to go into that a little bit,
I completely agree. I mean, to my own equation, I drafted Ridley in my fantasy draft, so I do want to be big and boastful about him, but I don't want people to get too excited.
Okay.
Because he is 2 years removed. 1 year he was gone for just
mental
health, which is understandable. I mean, anyone can understand that. Praise to you if you can bear up to do that. And then, obviously, the gambling suspension. But he is 2 years removed. You can stay in football shape as much as you want and keep your head in the game, but I think that once those lights come on and you're playing, it's all up to you. And it's definitely a mind game because he has the talent, he has the feet, he has the hands.
He's got the release too. My goodness,
His
first step is just ridiculous. I mean, I think I saw him in that preseason game. I mean, he made some amazing catches. But I do get what you're saying. He hasn't felt the pressure. You know, you're down 3 minutes to go. You got no timeouts left. How are you going to get down the field and score and go win the thing? Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing, too. It's
seeing how the Jags responded on that last offensive drive against the Chargers. Will he be able to come in and play with that just nuttiness? Because, I mean, look at that fourth down call with Travis Etienne where he busted out for that 40-yard run. That type of stuff, you got to be a different kind of athlete to run in a Doug Peterson offense. Is he ready to? I think so. I really think so.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is, I have no doubt about him. I just think that week 1, I think it's probably going to take week 3, week 4 to kind of get himself moving a little bit. He looks really good in the preseason, but, the Dolphins didn't play a lot of guys in that game at all. Yeah. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see that. And then I want to talk about the AFC South. I know it's not going to be a fun topic for a lot of you, but I want to talk a little bit about it. Just 3 rookie quarterbacks. We haven't seen something like this in a long time.
I know.
Levis is not the starter at the moment, but who knows? It looks like Tennessee, if they get off to a bad start, they might even move off Derrick Henry. We'll see what happens with that. But What do you think? What do you want to – let's just talk about C.J. Stroud and Richardson. And how do you think the South kind of plays out this year in the 2023-24 season?
I'll start off – we'll just go 1 to 4. I think the Jaguars take it with a cake. Okay. I think just out of respect, we're the most prepared team out of all 4. If you look at the coaching staff to the player staff to the players, I think we're the most complete. Now, if we go to 2, I think I hate to say it, but the Tennessee Titans. I think they're really taking this year to just go all in. One more playoff push before Mike Vrabel goes and rebuilds. Because I think he's got Malik Willis, he's got Will Levis, and we may see one of them come into the year. I mean, we've seen it multiple times. Week 4, here they come, middle of the game. So, I mean, it happened to Ryan Tannehill. Will it happen again? So, there's my take for the Tennessee Titans. I think number 3 is a big toss-up. But I think the Colts just barely come over the Texans.
Okay.
And I say that because they're going to run a really, really downhill offense. If you look at their roster, they got 4 wide receivers. 4. Like, the Jags have 7. Like, that's a big difference. But if you look how many tight ends do they have, they've got 6.
Yeah.
They got 6 tight ends, and they also got 11 offensive linemen, and they got 4 running backs. So they're going to really be running heavy, which I think is going to be a big weakness for the Texans.
I want to add one thing real quick. I think the hire of Shane Steichen, really, with the Eagles, how they were able to run the ball, too. I totally agree with that statement. I think that's really right on cue. I was thinking about that earlier today. I think the Colts are going to be a lot better just with coaching. I think Steichen's going to be a really good coach.
And I mean,
you saw what he did with the Eagles offense. I think the Eagles offense might even take a step. Like, you saw what happened when Josh Allen didn't have Dable. I think that might happen with Jalen Hurts this year. We'll see what happens. But I just think he's going to be a great coach.
Even to add to the coaching agreement, they got Jim Bob Cooter, who was our passing game coordinator last year. So all the passing game that Trevor threw last year, that was due to him, Jim Bob Cooter and Press Taylor. So they now have Jim Bob, who's now their offensive coordinator. So we know them, they know us. It's going to be definitely a good matchup.
That's why I say that week 1. I mean, a lot of people are taking the Jaguars on spread. I think the Jaguars win, but be careful with that line. I'm telling people, because that element of surprise, I think, is going to definitely happen. So,
yeah, and then going down to 4, the Texans. I think DeMeco Ryans has a lot to prove, because a lot of the time when defensive coordinators become head coaches, it takes them a little bit longer than most to get up to speed and get their team rolling. I do like Will Anderson. I do like what they've done with the team, but it's nowhere near enough. They're in year 1 of rebuild. We'll give them time, but that's my AFC South. That's my layout. That's what I think.
Yeah, I like that. I really do. I don't have much complaints. I think, like you said, I think Tennessee is going to – I really think they might have bad rate this year. I don't know. I just have a feeling. I think they could go down to 3, but I think the Colts are going to be a lot better. I think the Texans still got a ways to go. I don't know how the heck CJ Stroud's going to be. That's the one guy where
he's a wild card, because he can really be that pocket passer that works for John Mechie and Nico Collins. But, hey.
Well, here's the thing with these Ohio State quarterbacks, too, is their talent is so much more above these other Big Ten teams. A lot of these guys, when they come in, they don't get hit as much, if that makes sense. But he also played great in that Georgia game where it's like, wow, okay, he's good. But we just saw a glimpse of that, so I'm excited to see kind of what happens with that. I want to go into the AFC East. I have to ask, just kind of, I've easily, in my opinion, it's going to be the best conference this year.
That's going to be the best conference.
I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to give you my 4 real quick. Then you can react and give me. I like Miami. I think the offense, I like their coach, McDaniel, a lot. I think they take a step. I think if Tua stays healthy, I think they are going to take it. And then I'm going to go Buffalo, too. I just think that Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen thing is really an issue. I think I think they're a wild card team, but I do think that they're going to take a step down. McDermott got out-coached. You can debate in some of those Miami games. I mean, Skylar Thompson almost beat the Bills. So, but I'm going to go the Bills. I think they take a step down. And then I'm going to go Jets 3. I think their offensive line is just such a huge struggle. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has had probably a top 5 offensive line his whole entire career. I mean, that's really, you watched it on Hard Knocks. I know all you guys watch that. Yeah. It's really a problem for these guys. And then I'm going to go New England, Florida. I just don't. I mean, I think they're going to win some games in the division with coaching, but I just don't think they got the guys on the perimeter with an offensive league. So, what says it to you?
Dude, that's pretty big of a take. I love Miami. I will agree with you. Like I've said this before, it's a track meet on that team. It's a track meet.
Their 1-2 receivers are just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's not fair to have two men on the field that can run 20, 22 miles an hour.
Just crazy.
I like that, but can Tua stay healthy? If Tua stays healthy, man, all praise to the Miami Dolphins.
Right, that's the thing, and that's the thing too. If he doesn't stay healthy and he gets one more concussion, I believe his career's over. Like
he's to the point where if he's getting one or two more concussions, they need to tell him like hang it up.
Yeah.
You need to hang up the helmet. You need to.
It's really bad, and I think Tua is accurate. I don't think he's Trevor Lawrence. I don't think he's elite. I don't think he's definitely a step notch. I think he's in the Derek Carr kind of Jared Goff kind of field of quarterbacks, in my opinion.
And I'll give him the fact that anytime he is playing,
they win,
and he has great completion percentage. But that means he's got a good offensive staff, a good offensive coaching staff. So we'll see this year. We'll definitely see. Two, I'm going to take the Jets over the Bills.
Okay.
This
is a big one.
Completely agree with you that Sean McDermott may be the worst coach in that division. He may be the worst coach in that division. I mean, you look at Robert Saleh, Bill Belichick, and Mike McDaniels. These guys are, Bill Belichick's still, to this day, one of the best. I mean, his team's struggled the last couple of years, but
he's a defensive wizard.
Yeah, he's to blame. And then to add to that, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and I think Garrett Wilson is going to be a top 5 wide receiver this year.
I can't disagree with that.
It's hard to think, but I think he's going to be a top 5, top 10 at least. He's going to go up there and join the Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase talk. Definitely in those young guns. And then, dude, you can't look past Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. Everyone, I haven't heard a single thing from sports talk or analytics or anything. No one's talking about that. Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall, that's scary. That's scary. That's scary to think about.
That is a heck of a 1-2 duo.
And then you can't forget about, Tyler Conklin. He's a tight end that can block. He's a tight end that can go in the red zone. He got a ton of red zone targets last year. I'm pretty sure he was top 15 in red zone targets. And then you go and add Randall Cobb. Yeah. What was it? Alan Lazard came over. So they got a pretty steady crew.
I love Quinnen Williams. I think their defense is going to be so elite, too. I don't know.
I don't.
Really?
Dude, this year, Sauce Gardner's going to get exploited. All these wide receivers have had a year to watch this kid that's like, I'm the best because I'm the youngest. I have 15 pass blocks. That usually doesn't end well for a year 2 corner. Dude, look at Jalen Ramsey, 2017. Boom. One of the best corners to ever play in the league. Then you come to 2018, all wide receivers sort of figured him out. Yeah, he's still great, but he wasn't playing at the top 1 level.
No, I can agree with. He's going to get targeted for sure. With that division too, he's going to really be tested. That's the thing. I kind of thought in Hard Knocks, I don't know if you watched, they did go at him. He had a couple segments where he struggled a little bit, but it's going to be fun to watch because I do love Quinnen Williams. I think he's such a cool guy. He brings great energy. I hope he has a great year, but I don't know, man. That offensive line is just so concerning.
That's their weakness.
But 40-year-old, it's not like it's a young guy like Bryce Young. It's a 40-year-old, and Brady didn't like to get hit later in career. Drew Brees didn't like to get hit later in career. That's the thing with these older guys. They don't like to get hit, and Aaron will get pissed.
Aaron will. But I will also add, what was the score of the Jaguars-Jets game last year?
Gosh, it was super low scoring.
No. Look at the score. Look it up. Because I want to point out the score of that game with a really healthy Jaguars offense and a really healthy Jets defense.
19-3. It was,
19-3.
Yeah.
Now, who did they add for that defense other than Will McDonald in the draft? Who did they add? Because last I checked, that's the same defense that let the Jaguars put 19 points on them.
Yeah,
That's what I think every single time I see all these posts. It's like Jets, that one Jets player, who was it, that said, we're going to be elite. We're going to be up there with the Steel Curtain, the 2000 Ravens, the 85 Bears. I'm like, come on.
that's crazy. I'm not saying that, but I think, that's 19's not terrible, for the NFL.
That's not terrible. I will agree.
Yeah.
We put up way more on other teams.
Right.
But moving on.
Yeah, I gotta hear the Bills.
Bills definitely at 3 because I think the Patriots have no clue what they're doing at quarterback. But we'll talk about Bills right now. Stephon Diggs is pissed. I think Josh Allen's pissed. I think that whole organization's pissed that they haven't gotten their Super Bowl.
Yes.
Because
they've missed their
window over and over and over. So this year, I'm going to put them at 3 or 1. They're going to be the first seed in the AFC, or they're going to be third in their division. It's one or the other. But if Josh Allen can decide, let me not make bad mistakes anymore, that team's elite.
Yes.
That team is elite. So.
And Von Miller, his health has been a serious concern on that defense.
Yeah, you can say that, but that defense is loaded all the way across the board. Like, when you know the whole defensive line, and you know their starting secondary, and their linebackers, you know that defense is stacked.
Yeah.
So, moving on, Patriots. Do you really trust Mac Jones now?
I will say, I think last year was super unfair on him.
Yeah,
just because,
definitely.
Think about this. They hired Patricia as their OC. That's like hiring an accountant to run your sales team in corporate America.
Yeah.
So I think he got a super unfair second year.
Yeah.
But do I think he's the 4th best quarterback in the division? Yeah, I do.
Definitely. It's a sad day to come for Mac Jones because he could probably do well somewhere else.
Imagine if he got taken over Trey Lance in San Fran.
Yeah. That's dude, what if Justin Fields went to Stanford? That's a whole different.
Well, we're going to get to Justin Fields in just a moment, crew. We're going to get right to Justin Fields.
That's my AFC East.
I like
One being either the Bills or the Dolphins, 2 being the Jets, 3 being either the Dolphins or the Bills. They're interchangeable at this point. I don't think the Jets are going to take the 1 because it's first year. Come on.
I agree.
It's a whole new system. No team ever does that excellent with a first year system.
Well, the Jets' first 6 weeks, I'm going to read it to you. They have a brutal first 3 weeks. They had play against Buffalo Monday night, then at Dallas.
Okay.
Then they play New England. I'm sure that's been a tough game for them though over the years. Then they play Kansas City, and then they play Denver, who the Sean Payton
did come up.
Nathaniel Hackett's beef went on this offseason, so that's going to be a good game. And then they play the Eagles. So those first 6 weeks,
that's going to be a harsh 6 weeks.
They could go 2-4. I'm just going to say it.
They could.
But we'll see what happens with the Jets here. Ethan, thank you for joining the DLoading podcast. I want to get to the Bears and Packers game. In my opinion, these 2 quarterbacks have the most pressure. I think Jordan Love had the couple years. He's ready to go. We need to know if he's a guy. And Justin Fields, you're either one way or the other. It feels like on Justin Fields. The fact is, I'm just going to say the stat. He's 5-20 as a starting quarterback right now.
5-20.
So let's break down that game. What do you need to see from Justin Fields week 1? Because I think he really has the most pressure in the league right now.
I'm really excited for this game because I think this is a tall sign of where the NFC North is going to end up, really, in the future. Because if either of these two guys go elite, that whole division's in for some. Because they're young, their ceilings are super high, I would say. Their ceilings are super high. But to start off first, let's go Jordan Love. A lot of weapons were taken and picked from Green Bay last year. So, their number one wide receiver is who?
Christian Watson.
Whoa. They don't. That's your one? So, with that being said, he doesn't have a lot around him other than Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, who can help out a first-year quarterback a lot.
Right. I think Aaron Jones is going to be tremendous, I think, in fantasy football this year.
Yeah.
But go ahead and continue.
He's got a lot to prove and not a lot to prove it. That's what I'm trying to say here. I feel like Jordan Love, he's got a great offensive line. I will say that. He's got a good offensive line to protect him. He's got a good defense to keep him on the field. But where are his weapons, man? Where are his weapons?
Yeah, I mean, the receiver, I think Christian Watson's a good player for sure. I don't know if he's a 1 yet. I don't think anyone knows that. But I think Aaron Jones is going to be great. But I don't know about any of the other receivers. Jaden Reed, I don't know about any of those guys.
Yeah,
really.
I don't.
So, my thing is, though, there's just, I don't know if you watch college football. It just seems like there's so many dang great quarterbacks now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think you can say with both Love and Fields, if they aren't producing by Thanksgiving, I think they move off both those guys. Just because of how great the quarterbacks are. I mean, the quarterback play is unreal. Drake May, Caleb Williams. Even Deion's son was amazing.
Shedeur Sanders, bro. Even look at Travis Hunter against LSU.
The Florida State kid.
Yeah, the Florida State kid is.
Yeah, he's amazing too. Even the LSU quarterback, people really like him.
What about Indiana's kid? Yeah,
and then the Bo Nix has been thought of a lot.
Yeah.
And then I know that the lefty kid from Washington is really the Pac-12 is amazing at quarterback this year. My goodness, but if you want to I want to hear what you think about Justin Fields because a lot of people, in my opinion, I think he's their guy. I think this is really his year. He's got DJ Moore. He's got a good tight end. This is it. I think the Bears definitely could win. I feel like they can get 9 wins this year, in my opinion.
For sure. Here's my truthful thought first before we move on to Justin Fields. I think this next draft we could be expecting a 2021 likeliness, like Trevor, Matt Jones, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance.
I think
Justin Fields,
I think there is at least 5-6 quarterbacks that get drafted in this next class.
Within the top 15. Yeah. I'll say within the top 15, we see 5 or 6 quarterbacks go. Because, there are a lot of drafted teams. Anyways, Justin Fields. Like you said, kid's 5-20, but that's with, we won't say his name, and then we move on to Matt Eberflus, who was the old defensive coordinator for the Colts. So I know him pretty well. He's got a lot of weapons on defense. That defense can be good.
Yes.
You got Jaquan Brisker. You got what's his name? Eddie Jackson.
Yes.
So you got a good secondary. The defensive line holds its own. You brought weapons in for Fields. The run game's going to be good. Justin Fields can run. We saw him put up 40-plus point fantasy games last year. It's make it or break it for him. Like you said, if he's not playing well, by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, they're tanking. They are going all in the tank. Because if you can have any shot at getting Caleb Williams and or one of those high-stake players it's worth it nowadays because you see what Joe Burrow's done for the Bengals. You see what Trevor's done for us. You see what Justin Herbert's done for the Chargers.
Josh Allen's done for the
Josh
Bengals.
Allen, Patrick Mahomes. Like, all of these guys were drafted really high in the draft, minus, who wasn't drafted high with those boys? I think Patrick Mahomes,
12,
he was the latest. But with that being said, I think teams have become a lot more just radical, I would say, when it comes to making moves on QB because they want to win down. And that's really just how the business works.
That's how, yeah.
It's a business.
I mean, I think, in my opinion, I could see Tampa's going to get one. I think Arizona's going to get one.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are going to take one. I think Atlanta, I have no idea on Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder's going to be good.
You think so?
I promise you. Dude, I don't know how to explain this to people, but Arthur Smith is an excellent offensive-minded dude. He just hasn't had the QB. He really hasn't had the QB yet. But now you got Bijan Robinson, Drake London, Kyle Pitts. You got Pro Bowl, like first-team All-Pro level offensive lineman on your offensive line. And then you got to add a really good defense. Like, I'm talking really good. Like, Falcons may be top 5 defense.
Are they winning the South?
Yes. Them are the Saints. Because they got Grady Jarrett. They also got Calais Campbell. And then you got to add in, they got Jesse Bates in free agency. They got Jeff Okudah. They got A.J. Terrell. You want to keep going, dude? Their defense is stacked. They're going to be a good team.
Depends on the quarterback, so we'll see.
Desmond Ridder. Mark my words. I think that kid's going to be good. If he comes out guns a-blazing, don't say I didn't tell you so.
Okay, I hear you. Commanders also another team I could see taking quarterback. I can also see the Raiders. So that's about 6 or 7 I just named.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see that. Do you think Justin Fields is where do you see the Bears this season? What's their record, and are they a playoff team?
The most I'll give them is a wild card. Unless they win their division, but they got a lot to prove. It's going to be hard getting through Minnesota. It's going to be hard getting through Detroit. They're two really packed teams. They're going for Super Bowl or bust. Like, that's really what they're going for. I mean, the Lions, they've created a good organization where they can sustain that for a while, but I don't think Jared Goff's the guy. But I think those weapons are insane. I think that team is going to be good. So
I think they're definitely a lock for the division, in my opinion.
I mean, look at the Vikings last year. If you had them win every single game that was decided by one possession,
they won 11 or 12. I've looked at that stat. It's like 11.
They would have won 15-2.
Yeah.
15-2. That team's not that bad. So if Kirk can just win in the fourth quarter, I think that they take that division very easily.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I like Detroit personally. I just think they had a really good end of the year, and I think they've pushed on. I think they're going to play well tonight as well, but it's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Last thing I want to talk about here on the podcast, guys, Ethan Sandstorm on the podcast. I want to talk lines. I know you said you've got some things you like. You give me a game you like just this week and just the most confident you're feeling if you're betting this weekend. How you think a game or two might shake out?
Look at Sunday night.
Okay, so we got Dallas and the Giants. The Giants. The Cowboys are a 3-point favorite at the moment.
Okay, I think that's super unpredictable. Monday night. I know everyone's excited for Monday night. That's going to be what? Buffalo Jets?
Yes.
Yeah. I think that game will decide how we think about that division wholeheartedly.
Okay.
But I think comfortably we can go with like Buffalo over under because it's first year with Aaron Rodgers. It's his first year with Robert Saleh. Yes, he has a great relationship with Hackett, but who's to say they still don't have struggles? I mean, it's Aaron Rodgers' first year with every single player on that offense except for Cobb and Lazard.
Yeah.
So that would be a good game.
Yeah, I'm going to give you one. I like the Patriots +4 against Philly. I know that's a hot take.
Ooh.
I think at home, though, I think the Shane Steichen thing, I think the Patriots play well. Not saying they're going to win, but I think that game is a lot closer than people think.
Yeah, definitely a lot closer.
I think it's going to be a good one. Another one I kind of like, too. I like a lot of underdogs this week.
There's a lot of underdogs.
But I also do like the Saints, -3 over Tennessee. I think they looked really well. Derek Carr looked really comfortable, even in that Chiefs game. I don't know if you saw that at all.
I watched that.
Yeah, he looked super comfortable in the pocket. I really like their weapons. I think their defense is up and coming. So I would give those two. Do you have any other ones you would want to throw in there? Let's break down the Jags. I mean, what do you see? How is that going down?
We're wiping it clean.
You think so? They're covering the 5.
When was the last time a first-year rookie quarterback and a first-year rookie head coach have won their first game?
Right.
When was the last time?
Right.
I want to know that. When was the last time a rookie QB and a rookie head coach won their first game?
Yeah, I couldn't give you the stats on that, but that's a good point. No, I think it's going to be a very interesting game. I think they're going to play a lot like the Ravens do. The Colts are going to try to control possession. They're going to try to run the football. Like you said, I think it's going to come down to the trenches if the D-line can stop the run. But not having Jonathan Taylor is night and day. I don't know.
They also may be missing out on a Shaquille Leonard.
Yeah.
I heard that this morning because he's on, I believe, concussion protocol.
Right. No, it's going to be interesting to see that. I think the Jags win. I'm going to pick them by. I think the Colts. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Jags. It's going to feel like the Jags have taken the game, but I think it's going to be closer than people think. If that makes sense. So I'm going to go. I'm going to go 28-24 Jags. And I think the Colts cover, but I can also see it the other way around. I just think having Anthony Richardson start his home debut at home is definitely night and day from going to Jacksonville.
Very true. Like I said earlier about our record in Indy, it's tough. But what I will say is that I'll go with you and agree with you that it's going to be a lot closer than people think. But I also could go the other way. I mean, they got at wide receiver Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's going to get shut down by one of our two wideouts with Tyson Campbell and Darius Williams.
It's just back to that thing. I don't know how Anthony Richardson's going to see the field. Man. I don't know.
Yeah, you can throw the ball in your practice facility and hit the ceiling, but can you throw that ball and hit a wide receiver running a go route?
Right.
So, and then you look past Michael Pittman, it's Alec Pierce. Alec Pierce is he can do your outside stuff, slot stuff, but he's honestly my biggest fear on the offense, Alec Pierce. But if that's my biggest fear, I'm feeling pretty comfortable. I'm liking my chances.
Yeah. Ethan, appreciate you coming on the podcast. I want to talk one more thing. Jaguars record will be, and their toughest game this season will be.
I'm gonna be brave, man. I'm gonna say we go 13-4. I'm gonna say 13-4, 12-5. But I'm gonna say comfortably 13-4 because our record is very easy. But I will say I think our toughest game is gonna be Monday Night Football in the bank against the Bengals, man. I think that is gonna be our toughest game today.
Yeah, that's going to be a really tough one. I think I do think that Jags-Chiefs game is going to be a big advantage for the Jags playing in September out there. But I would go comfortable. I would see low at 11, but I would probably go 12. I've kind of gone over with 13 as well, but I do think the Jags might drop a division game. They shouldn't lose, but they might win a couple games. I think that
Really? Actually, really? You think we're going to drop a division game? I don't think so. I think we wiped the division. I mean, look at the. I mean, I'll give it to you. Like the Chiefs lose to one person every year in their division, at least once.
It's tough. That's what I'm telling people about the Colts. It could be the Colts. I mean, I'm serious,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's the thing. It's tough. You play the same teams twice a year. I mean, you just know each other so freaking well. But I could also see him doing it. But I just think they drop one, and then I think that I think that they're going to lose the Chiefs, Bengals. One of these games, not all of them. Sorry, the Chiefs, Ravens, and Bengals. One of those I think is going to be lost.
Yeah.
And then I think that first London game is always sneaky with the time change, but I do feel confident about us beating the Jags, beating the Bills. I'm going to mark that down.
They're going to be in the pubs for a week. They're going to love it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So you said I'm going to go 12 and 5. 12 and 5.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Dude, it's going to. I want our team to break records this year. I want our team to break Jacksonville records. It's not hard, man. It can't be hard.
AFC's loaded, but it's going to be fun to watch this year,
Yeah.
man. It's going to be Ethan. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
No, thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
It was awesome.
All right, guys, we're going to be back next week. We'll see you next week.